You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. 14 years, going on 15 years next month. What do we have? Like 15? We're going on 1,500 episodes now. It's just crazy. We do 2 to 3 new shows a day. We do 10 to 15 a week. So only on weekdays. We're not working on weekends, people. What do you want from me already? Damn it. You got enough to listen to. You don't need 2 more days of content. There's plenty there. Go listen to it. You'll love it. Anyway, guys, we really appreciate you guys going on. And as you know, I think many of my readers know I've lost over 100 pounds by intermittent fasting. And I lived a life where I did all the bad stuff. Not all of the bad stuff. There were some things that were a little too bad. I was like, yeah, that probably shouldn't be a road I should go down. But I ate pretty gratuitously and bad. And if there was fat in it and high amounts of sugar, I think it was 10 to 15 Mountain Dews at one point, half a bottle of vodka every other night, and eating out at fine restaurants. Being single, I can do what I want. So I ate a little too many steaks and too much fat and everything else. And so, since then I've done intermittent fasting, lost 100 pounds, and we've had some great dietitians on the show. And we have another one on today talking about how she overcame her issue with diabetes for type 2, and how she helped heal herself and eat better and become more healthier, and how she also helps other people do that as well, and some of her input. She's the author of the latest book that has just come out called Diabetes Plate, your comprehensive food tracker for type 2 diabetics. April Federico is on the show with us today, and she'll be talking to us about her amazing new book and her insights and how she helps her clients get better with all the different stuff that they should be eating, and help them get away from the stuff they should not be eating, or at least, on a frequent basis. She is a nutritionist, gut health consultant, and hormone health and type 2 diabetes expert who educates and empowers women, and she might help some of us men here, to have healthier relationships with food, nutrition, and themselves. In February 2022, she nearly succumbed to diabetic ketoacidosis, and she was an alcoholic for 4 years prior to giving alcohol and coffee up for good. On top of that, she is a social media and publishing powerhouse. Welcome to the show, April. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. I am doing fantastic.
There you go. And I forgot to mention here in your bio, you are the CEO and owner of In the Pink Incorporated and Be Well by April. So give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please.
Yes. So my website for now, I'm actually going through a significant rebranding, but is Theaprildiaries.blog.
Ah, there you go. And that's to support your latest book that you have come out. Now, I understand the Kindle version's out right now as of this recording, and then there's going to be a paperback?
Yep, there's going to be a paperback 300-page journal / tracker, I should say, coming out next week. So next Friday, August 25th, I believe it is. Get your paperback.
There you go. Get your paperback. Keep a journal. The one thing I learned is, although it sometimes isn't fun to get on that scale every day, and see maybe stuff you stopped at Del Taco on the way home from the gym. Sometimes you see it and you're just like, oh man, okay, but back on track. Journals are really important for keeping people on track, don't you think?
I agree. And to your point about stepping on a scale, I would say break up with that freaking scale because it's not always correct.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could be gaining muscle for all I know. I mean, I am going through personal training at the moment. And one of the things my trainer had told me, that was just my cat meowing. I don't know if you heard her, but
oh, I thought it was your trainer. Because you said my trainer told me, and I heard the meow, and I'm like, that's her trainer right there. Anyway, sorry,
I wish.
I had to hit that.
Oh goodness, but my trainer is great. AJ,
Uh-huh.
you're awesome. Thank you. And but nonetheless, he told me that like if you stop on the scale and see that you've gained weight, that actually could be that you're gaining muscle and just losing fat.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's water weight. Sometimes you're just holding a bunch of water and stuff. I remember when I used to drink heavily, as I mentioned before, and you did in your bio, you bloat and you carry a lot of extra water because your body's trying to offset that dehydration that you're doing to yourself. So give us a little 30,000 overview of some of the stuff that's in the book, and then we'll get into some of the deets.
Yeah, so the diabetes plate is not just a blood sugar / food tracker. It also has really valuable information in it, like how to manage your diabetes effectively and how to effectively read a nutrition label. Most of us don't know how to do that. I mean, most of us just look at a nutrition label and just go like, oh, this much calories. Okay.
Yeah. And most people don't read the little hidden small part, especially us
Exactly.
old people with old eyes, is the part that says servings, number of servings. And you're
Yes.
like, it's got 100 calories in it. That ain't too bad. And then you're like, yeah, that's for 1/1,000,000th of a millionth of a millionth of an ounce.
I would say it's actually per serving, but you're on the right track.
Yeah, per serving. Yeah. And then you're like, wait, there's so just one bite of this is like 5,000 calories. I mean, yeah. What's that? Who's that? Crumble cookie or somebody? There's
Cookie? Yeah.
there's some cookie
Something
thing
like
that's
that.
like an astronomical amount of calories. So, what else? What else do you talk about in the book? Just some tease outs.
Well, first I actually talk about who I am and a little bit about my story. And really how this all began was my night in the ICU. Well, actually it was 4 days, but I'm just going to call it that fateful night, like the total rebirth of who I am. So I was a poet going to publishing school in Boston. And one day, it was actually Valentine's Day 2022. I actually was feeling all the symptoms from diabetic ketoacidosis, which they don't teach you in primary or secondary school, and not even in medical schools for that matter. Yeah, amazing, Chris. Wow. And
things you need to know.
Yeah, you need to know this.
Yeah,
and
other than where to put the periods and commas.
Exactly. So yeah, I was just feeling all the symptoms, and not to be gross or anything, but that night I puked like 4 times and it was all black bile. So so that really goes to show there was a lot of acid in my system.
There you go. That's Fridays around here at our house.
Oh goodness, you're killing me. But all jokes aside, I almost died that night.
Wow.
And I don't know how, I don't know when, but at one point I just couldn't walk anymore. Wow. And I wound up succumbing to my mom's decision to just go to the emergency room. And I'm so glad I did, because I almost died that night of diabetic ketoacidosis.
You can too, yeah.
You can. And it actually is more than likely that you can.
Wow.
So I am very thankful that I am the girl who lived.
Yeah, and went to the doctor. You definitely go to the doctor sometimes if stuff isn't wrong, people. You'd be surprised. I've had people that have had heart attacks in my office, and they're kind of mild, but they're still having a heart attack, and they're like, I don't want to go. Don't call the ambulance. I'm like, where you're going. But it's one of those things. So tell us about your journey. You it sounds like you may have battled some alcohol in there. Give us your hero's journey so we kind of understand how you got here and more in depth of that.
Yeah, so to my point earlier about being a poet in publishing school, like writers, we tend to drink a lot.
Ernest Hemingway style, right?
I was like living I call it my Carrie Bradshaw lifestyle. I love in the city. I practically swear by it. So Sarah Jessica Parker, if you're watching this, I'm a fan. So but all jokes aside, I was drinking pretty much more than 2 bottles of wine per week.
Wow.
Yeah, or at least like 1 bottle of wine per week. And that just wreaked havoc on my system. And even my brother could guess, like, oh, she's going to be diabetic. And I mean, I don't know if he was joking or if he was serious, but again, he's a comedic, so we're just going to leave it at that.
Well, evidently it did happen to you then, right?
Yeah, and they're actually saying that with girls who are in their 20s like myself. I mean, I was 25 when I got it.
Wow.
And I'm 27 now and have fortunately beat diabetes. Although I still control it with Jardiance, Basaglar, which is the nighttime insulin, and and just overall nutrition and exercise. Like I said, I have a personal trainer, so I I lost my train of thought here, but
You were saying about how you were going through the process of you're drinking a little bit too much. Were you eating badly like I did for 50 years where you're
I completely ignored my health.
going
Like,
to McDonald's and stuff?
yeah, I went to McDonald's, got Uber Eats, got all that jazz. Like I said, I was pretty much whining and dining.
Whining and dining. There you go.
And I wasn't really watching my weight as well. And I look at pictures from, say, November 2020 or 2021, actually. And so this was like post-COVID. And I didn't realize this, but I was actually suffering from COVID at the time.
Oh, really?
And they're saying it's more so linked, especially with girls in their 20s. They can get type 2 diabetes from having COVID.
Yeah, there's some damages that come from that. It inflames the organs, and the over-inflaming the organs can permanently damage them because you're not supposed to overheat everything in your body. Last time I checked my thermometer, but there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like I said, I was completely ignoring everything that I was putting in my body and just not giving an F and just kind of saying like, c'est la vie. And because I'm a huge Emily in Paris fan as well. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
And anything by Darren Star I like. So
there we go.
Yeah.
And so you went on this journey. You have your, would you call this a moment of clarity or cathartic moment where you end up in the hospital? And where did you go from there?
Yeah. So, well, first I'm going to start when I woke up. I'm very convinced that I was touched by an angel of some sort.
Oh,
wow. Actually went to a psychic and they said it was actually someone on my dad's side of the family. But I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but we'll see.
We'll find out someday, I suppose.
We'll find out someday.
Nobody gets out of here alive last time I checked, so.
Exactly. But yeah, in all seriousness, I wake up and doctors are interrogating me about where I am. And I think at one point I said I was at my boyfriend's dad's pool party. Oh, wow. I was so disoriented. And I remember just trying to look for my phone just to text my boyfriend, like, this is what's happening. And like, I didn't even know what was happening.
Because you're completely out of your system's completely shutting down or something on you. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky it wasn't shutting down. I mean, at that point I was just like, okay, where do we go from here? And how do we treat this? And, yeah, and after I was done being interrogated, I then get doctors telling me, like, you do know you're diabetic, right? And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I do now.
A horrible way to find out, isn't it?
Yeah, holy moly.
Yeah.
That was the rebirth of me.
Yep.
And I'm in my second life, as I say. And I don't know how many lives you get, but I think this is the best one.
Yeah. My best advice is don't push it.
Exactly.
You don't want to be like a cat. We're like, let's see how many 9 lives we can go through. Don't test the waters. That's my advice.
Oh, no, don't test the waters.
You can do what you want.
Your health.
Yeah, especially with your health. Well said. So you go through this journey, you get on the other side of it. How do you get to the point where you figure out how to balance what you're doing? You develop this journal and help other people.
Yeah, so this journal really came a year after my diagnosis. So a little over a year, I should say. And I really credit Rebecca Caffiero from the Pitch Club, founder of the Pitch Club, and my friend and time management coach, Alejandra Marquez, for really pushing me to write this journal and to eventually publish it, which goes to show that anything is possible if you have the right mindset. And something I was going to talk about today, Chris, was the Cicero method, which is how I eventually beat diabetes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Close.
yeah, absolutely. So, and it's funny because I need fingers to count the acronym, so bear with me. So it's like confidence and intelligence create emotional resilience to optimize.
There you go. The Cicero method. And so there's CI for each of those. Is that correct?
Yeah, confidence and intelligence.
There you go. None of either, which I don't have. So there you go.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, I'm the comedic relief over here. So the Cicero method, I like this. Give us one more time if you would, so that we can get those.
Sure.
So people can write those down when they're driving in the car or something. Don't do that, people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, don't do that. So it stands for confidence and intelligence create emotional resilience to optimize.
There you go.
This is something I wasn't really cognizant that I was following in the beginning stages of my diagnosis. However, when I got out of the hospital and back home, I remember crying on my bed profusely, just thinking like, why did this happen to me? And like, how did this happen to me? And eventually I just kind of put all the puzzle pieces together, but it still remains a mystery. And I remember thinking like, you know what, I can bitch and moan about this all I want, or I can do something about it. And I decided to do something about it. I chose the latter because that's the best thing you can do in terms of dealing with the chronic illness. And it's because of that I'm able to teach and empower women all over the world about how to deal with their chronic illness and how to eventually beat their chronic illness. Because it's possible. But first you have to know that you are not alone.
That's true. And that's the great thing about stories and books and everything else is people share their issues, their stories, and they help other people succeed. And so now you coach women, you help them feel better about themselves. I know women, probably maybe more than men, they put more on their self-esteem and their personal value as how they look and how they weigh. I know, women have issues with the scale that, most men don't. I look at it and go, whatever, man. But I know it's a big deal for them. To have that correct?
I think you have it correct. I think it's both a women and men's issue, and those who are non-binary.
There you go.
And I think that, and it's like I said before, break up with the scale, because really it's not, that doesn't determine your worth. It doesn't determine your character. It doesn't determine basically anything, because you are not your weight. And diet culture really wants us to think that. And I'm fortunate enough to be a diet culture dropout. And to tell you the truth, Chris, I think that all of like my binge eating, my alcoholism really stemmed from the trauma that I went through in middle school, high school, and even beyond in college. Like I remember in middle school, I was bullied severely. And I talk about this more on my Instagram at the April Federico. And it's just like I think about it and I'm like, how did that happen? Like obviously you can't control everything that happened in your life.
Sure.
But you can control how you deal with things.
How you react to things.
Yeah, and that's where the emotional intelligence comes from in my Cicero method. There
you go. Hey, can you hang on for 1 second? Hey, with things, weight machine, we're breaking up. Pack your shit and move out. Sorry, I had to do that joke. It sounded lame at the time, but it came out better than I thought it would. So there you go. And I mean now. Don't make me angry. I don't know what that means. We tend to eat our feelings sometimes. We tend to use food sometimes to deal with insecurities or emotions. We've had people on the show that have written books about how we need to be aware of our emotions and our feelings, and sometimes we're reacting to them without really thinking about them. Sometimes you're not really hungry. You're just eating something maybe for comfort, or it's going to taste good, or it's going to make you feel good. I'm going to a movie tonight. Going to see Metallica in concert, and I'm already prepping myself to not buy the big giant popcorn thing, because the next morning I'm going to hate myself eating that, jumbo popcorn with, I don't know, the industrial oil, gasoline, whatever butter they put on, which I'm pretty sure is the same thing they put in cars. And so I'm already prepping myself going, you're only getting the small bag, buddy, and the small Coke. So there you go. But, we tend to, like I like to go to movies, and my favorite thing is eating a big thing of popcorn. And there's this equation. When I lost weight, I had to realize there were these lies that I would tell myself in my head. Like I would go to the store and I'd be like, I did all this work here at the store buying all this sugary shit and fatty stuff that I'm going to take home and eat. And I'll get myself a Coke and a candy bar on the way out. It's a reward. And then it occurred to me one day, I'm like, you're not rewarding yourself. You're destroying yourself. This isn't a reward. If you want to reward yourself, buy some grapes, or, I don't know, get something healthier, more to eat. And so we kind of have this weird sort of mnemonics that we use, or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Where we associate, emotions or things to food, and we use it as a silly reasoning, and then we tend to try and comfort ourselves with food, and it's probably not the best path to go down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, emotional eating is unfortunately one of the unspecified eating disorders that you can have. And the problem with diet culture is that people think that, like, well, I shouldn't be eating anything. And then like you said, when you do eat something, it's like a reward. However, it's like it's kind of like a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Because again, diet culture is a huge bitch, and
that should be the title of your next book. Diet Culture, the huge bitch.
Exactly. I think it should be.
I like that. I like that. I'm up for that.
I'm up for that as well.
Let's see that.
Yeah, but the thing about rewarding yourself is that there are better ways to do it. I mean, I think of the song from Greece, like, there are worse things I could do. The song that Rizzo sings, Stockard Channing, and I think about my recent journey with exercising, and I'm addicted to strength training at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's done wonders for me. It's helped me to battle those alcohol cravings, and to battle even coffee cravings. I mean, I still have an espresso here and there, but it's not harmful. And that's what you got to realize. It's the balance. And one thing that I tell my clients, and basically everyone around the world, even on podcasts, is to just like manage your chronic illness without harsh restriction. And I mean, restricting yourself will only make you feel unhappy, and it leads to wellness with obsession, which is what we don't want.
Yeah, and so you don't drink coffee either, then, huh?
No, I mean, occasionally I would crave a cup here and there, but I remember pouring myself a coffee this morning because we had a tornado warning here in Rhode Island, and
what?
Yeah, it was so bad.
Is that normal?
I mean, it's gone now, and it fizzled out by like 10 a.m. I'm not sure where you're located, Chris, but
Utah.
Oh, Utah. Yeah, so you're on the other side of the country.
But does Rhode Island normally have tornadoes? I thought it was kind of like, the southern middle part of the country.
No, it's actually East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, East Coast.
I know we're having something really weird. We're having our first hurricane maybe on California right now. Everyone's freaking out. Yeah, like 140 years or something. It's our first one.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but a lot of weird weather going on today.
Yeah, regardless, I was having a really stressful morning. And this is also where the cravings kind of show up in most people in stressful situations. However, there are better ways to manage your stress. And that could be through journaling. It could be through a meditation. It could be through prayer. I mean, no matter what higher power you believe in, you really just got to make a promise to yourself, because like before you believe in God or the universe, you have to believe in yourself, that you can make these changes all on your own. And because like it's really the confidence that you have in yourself that you can really beat your diagnosis.
Yeah, definitely. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to move from, you know, like what you talked about early, in being in the hospital bed, and you're in the victim mode. You're going, why me? Why this happened to me? And then you move from that to the empowerment mode, where you embody confidence and you embody self-actualization, where you can embody losing weight and taking care of your health. And that is what gets you through the process. Does that sound correct?
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
There you go. So now you're on the other side of it. How do you work with people when you coach them and help them? Tell us about some of the different things that you offer to people in your variations, because usually sometimes coaches have multiple different programs they utilize to help people.
Yeah, so right now I'm offering 90-day coaching, which will soon be year-long coaching, because really a transformation does not take 90 days. I hate to tell you. I mean, it takes 90 days to successfully build habits, like healthy habits, but it does not take 90 days to completely cure your illness. And I can't guarantee that you will absolutely cure your illness right off the bat, but I can guarantee that you will walk away with the confidence and intelligence that you need to go about your life on a daily basis with your illness.
There you go.
And to be the woman that you were meant to be.
There you go. I want to be the woman that I was meant to be. So there you go. I'm just kidding. You never know. There's still time. And so you help people do that. You work with mainly women, I guess. Do you work with men at all?
I'm open to working with men.
There you go.
And like I said, I'm going through a massive rebranding. Like Be Well by April will soon be in the pink ink. And yeah, it's just a whole new journey for me. And yeah, as you can tell, I love pink. And the pink means being healthy. So,
there you go.
Yeah, so I think it's a perfect rebrand.
There you go. Pink's important. Barbie was just on. She had a big pink thing going on. Pink's women love pink. There you go. It's I guess, is it a favorite color of women? Pink, pretty much. I don't know.
It depends on who you ask.
Okay, well, you guys are so good about knowing like just amazing amounts of variations of color. As men, we just kind of go blue, green, red. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know what magenta is, so I don't care. But it's great that someone does, because the world's a lot more beautiful that way. So you have your YouTube channel too, where you give people advice. You have your Instagram where you give people advice. Let's talk a little bit about what you talk about. I never realized how important the gut health is. Let's get into some gut health. Let's get into the gut. Let's get right down there in the gut. I sound like one of those opera singer vocal teachers. Let's get in the gut. Talk to us about gut health and why that's important, and why the crap you're putting in your gut makes a difference.
Yeah, so Hippocrates was right when he said that you basically are what you eat and what you consume. And it's true, because like if you're what's the nice way of saying this?
Fat?
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't like saying that.
I did it. I did it for you.
I don't like saying that word at all. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Overly sizable.
Sizable, or I'll just put overweight.
There you go. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, let's call it like it is. And usually I'm a really blunt person, so usually that's not a problem for me, but you never know.
You never know.
Exactly. So yeah, like say if you're overweight and you're just consuming like alcohol, you're consuming all this crap that you're just like processed meats, processed everything, processed cereal, the whole 9 yards. And that's just eventually going to affect your mood as well, because your gut is essentially your second brain. And it's true when they say that the intuition that you have in your gut is like your brain.
There you go.
Like gut, a lot of people tend to ignore their gut feelings.
Mhm.
You really shouldn't, because if your gut is telling you to do something, you do it.
Hmm.
But in all seriousness, yeah, gut health is really important, and there's so much research being done as we speak. I mean, I'm a gut health consultant, so I deal with this stuff on a daily basis. So, and there's constant misinformation out there. So that just goes to show, be careful where you find your sources.
There you go. There's a lot of guys online, guys and girls, I suppose, online that create a lot of different things. But from my understanding, the gut is directly tied to the brain, and if you have inflammation in the gut and you have issues with crap you're putting in there, where you have poor gut health, you don't have enough probiotics. There's all sorts of different ways, especially with alcohol. You can wipe the gut biome, those wonderful bacteria that eat stuff and help you digest and make all that stuff good for disposal. That it inflaming of the gut can inflame your brain. We've had some doctors on that have claimed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've learned over the years that the happier your gut is, the happier you'll be, because you're not sitting there in the fetal position holding your stomach going, why did I stop at Taco Bell again?
Yeah, it's true. You are what you eat, and you eventually become what you eat as well. And in my case, I became diabetic. And I was putting all this crap in my body. And what I didn't realize at the time was that, like, healing your gut, and like, you're probably seeing all these memes like saying, why is every female trying to heal their gut? And it's true, we are trying to heal our guts, and men should too, because gut health is not only important, but it's also vital for a healthy life.
There you go. You talk about this on your website. The gut microbiota helps break down complex carbohydrates, synthesizes vitamins, regulates your immune system, influences over metabolic processes. We had one doctor on the show he's been a doctor for 30 years, a pediatrician and family doctor, and he suggested that he's been able to heal certain amounts of autism, like not heal it permanently. I don't want to make a claim out there. Don't take this the wrong way, people. But he's been able to reduce the effects of autism in some kids, folks, by taking care of their gut health. And he's found that if the gut's inflamed, there's signals that go to the brain that inflame it, and a lot of that inflammation can cause autism to be worse. And so he's found different ways to do it. So I was really surprised by all this data on how to do it, and I never really thought about it. I'm like, my gut, it's a trash sewer system of the body. Whatever, man, have fun with that. But now I've had to learn to love my gut and go, let's put some good stuff in there so that, I'm not in the fetal position after Taco Bell night on Fridays. Yeah. There you go. And so talk to us about the correlation between gut health and type 2 diabetes. How do those two equate and relate?
So the correlation between type 2 diabetes and gut health is that, well, I'm just going to start with the alcohol portion of it, because that's what I went through. So it really messes with the gut microbiome, and it messes with the healthy gut bacteria in your microbiome, and also in your overall stomach. And you really should be consuming probiotics, which are in the healthiest foods you can eat, and the prebiotics, which are in, say, chickpeas. And so yeah, the correlation between type 2 diabetes and gut health is simple: your diet.
Wow. And a lot of people that, I've had people say, well, I have diabetes, or I've gotten diabetes. I've had friends that have gotten diabetes, type 2 diabetes, because there is a difference between that and type, I think, 1. where if you don't have the damaged organs, you can come back from diabetes if you improve your diet, start exercising, start taking care of your body, and quit using it as a dump for chemicals and that you call food. It's so interesting, some of the crap that we have in our food. But I've had friends that were borderline diabetic or diagnosed with diabetes, and they've been able to come back off of it just by exercising, managing what they eat, and everything else. Now, you're a nutritionist, so we've talked about reading labels and the backs of those labels. Let's dig into that a little bit. Why is that important?
Yeah, so it's important because, well, one, they don't really teach you much about this stuff in primary or secondary schools, and not even in medical schools for that matter.
Yeah.
However, I became a nutritionist because I want to know what exactly everyone is putting in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not monitoring what people eat, but I do give suggestions. And getting a little off topic here, but the importance of reading a nutrition label is that you don't know exactly what you're putting in your body. So
Mm-hmm.
like, say if you don't recognize an ingredient, it's possible that your gut's not going to recognize it as well. And it's obviously going to react in a certain way that it probably shouldn't in a healthy manner.
Yeah. It's going to be like, hey, man, what are you eating here, eh? I don't remember finding this in the woods when I was a caveman. It's kind of interesting how our bodies are so attuned to still kind of what we ate from a caveman sort of aspect, like nuts, berries, good, healthy, veganese sort of food.
Yeah, that's called the paleo diet, Chris.
There you go.
Yeah, that's something I somewhat follow. I follow what's called what Dr. Mark Hyman calls the pagan diet, which is like a vegan / paleo diet, which doesn't mean you're completely vegan. I love meat, so that's not an option for me to cut it out. So
meat's kind of good for you too. I mean, sometimes
exactly it
you
is
have a little bit of everything, but you can't have too much of anything, really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can eat too much wheatgrass. You probably can. I don't know. I'm not going to try either. But, we have a little of that every day. One of the problems I have with nutritional labels is, and it still gets me this day, like I'll look at the back, I'll look at the calories, I'll look at, fat, sugar, and then it's that nutritional, it's the serving size that always gets me. Why is it important for us to follow that?
Yeah, so a common misconception, Chris, that people have with nutrition labels is when they look at the calories, they think it's the calories of the entire box or something, or the entire can, whatever you're eating, or drinking. But the point is that it's actually the amount of calories in a single serving. So, for example, if there are 100 calories in a single serving of popcorn, I'm just saying popcorn because that's my favorite snack.
That's where I'm going to go have tonight.
I totally forgot about that, to be honest with you. But
with the engine oil butter, I'm going to call it the engine oil butter from here.
Yeah, just call it that from now on.
It looks like it when it comes out of the pump.
Exactly. So, like that's the amount you're going to get in a single serving, and that's the amount that you're potentially consuming.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do when I go to see the movie tonight. I'm just going to take a stick of butter, it's natural butter, which is probably better than the engine oil butter that comes out of the pump there at the movie theater. And then I'm just going to, buy the popcorn butter free, and then I'm just going to bite off chunks of the butter because that might be healthier than the engine oil butter. I don't know. I might get sued by the movie theaters for saying that, but whatever. I don't care anymore. So let's talk about this tracker. Let's round bound to your book as we go out. So in the tracker, why is it important to track your food, keep a journal, and pick up your book so that people can track what's going into their gut?
Yeah, well, it's not just for gut health, but it's also for diabetics as well.
Mhm.
And you really don't have to be a diabetic to buy my book. I mean, you can buy it solely just to track your food.
Mhm.
Because one primary reason that people track their food is so that they can lose weight.
Mhm.
And it's important for people on a weight loss journey to know what they're putting in their bodies and what foods are making them react a certain way.
Mhm.
And maybe if they drink a cup of coffee and it's making them sick, well, that's probably a sign for them to stop drinking coffee, or at least go see a doctor or something like that, and put that on their to-do list. And also just like, say if they're eating like, red meat and it causes them to get sick, they probably want to track that as well.
Yeah. Especially if you haven't got that refrigerated. That's probably another reason why that's
Mhm.
working out. Especially you're getting sick. Hey, did you leave that out for a week on the counter? Yeah, that's probably why you're getting sick from eating that meat there, buddy. So watch out for that. But
Yeah.
so people can track this. The problem with not tracking, and because everybody cheats a little bit now. Every now and then they you go off the you go to McDonald's for a day, and then maybe you're like, let's go back one more time, and then then you're back into old habits and old problems you create. Is that the way most people go? Because I know that's the way I usually go.
Um, Wait, did you ask like
If people don't keep track of their food intake, and maybe they're eating good for a while, they're putting it in the journal, and then they go, I'm going to have a cheat day or something, and then kind of the cheat day becomes 2 and 3 and 4, 5, and they're not putting it in their journal, so they're not being self accountable.
Yeah, it's all about having that accountability for yourself. Because I mean, my personal trainer recommends like at least 1 to 2 cheat days per week.
Oh, really?
And I believe that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking like eating like crap for a whole day, like maybe just having like Uber Eats for a meal, or like something healthy, or something like pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, it kind of goes it's kind of counterintuitive to what I really teach about enjoying foods without restriction.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is important not to restrict yourself of foods that you love.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is all about being accountable for what you decide to put in your body. I mean, if you
Definitely.
feel like crap, that's on you. If the food you eat makes you feel like crap and you end up lashing out on other people, then that's on you.
And it does affect our mood and our state of mind, because if you feel awful, you tend to maybe emotionally react or treat other people awful because you feel like crap, and you're ground down. I used to have a problem where I would eat garbage and then go to sleep, and I wouldn't sleep well, and then that just creates a compounding effect of where you're just miserable. You just become a miserable person, and you're overweight, so you don't feel good. You can't fit in your clothes, and you just want to murder everyone, which is a bad thing according to the judge that has to be on parole. I'm just kidding, people. It's a judge joke on a callback. So anything more we want to tease out about your book and what's inside of it and all that good stuff?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would say is to definitely keep August 25th on your calendar and just buy the paperback. And
There you
it's
go.
on Kindle right now for $2.99.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $2.99 for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that problem before where where someone says like four or something. I'm like 400. I'm like, they're like, no. And like, so I had to clarify that. So
There you go.
it's probably in the show notes. And yeah,
But you
and
definitely want the book when it comes out, because it's a little hard to keep that journal right on if you start writing on your Kindle, it's probably
that's
not going to
true.
come off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
So I do, and I'm someone who likes to put pen to paper, and that's how I remember stuff well. So
There you go. There you go. So any final thoughts? What do you want people to come away from when they read your book? And also tell them how people can reach out to you, work with you, and get to know you better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can first follow me on Instagram at the April Federico. That's Federico, Federico,
Mhm.
and April like the month, and then the before that. So
There you go. There you go.
yeah,
And there'll be a link on the Chris Voss show. And people can order the book on your website. They can reach out to you, send you an email, maybe communicate with you through Instagram.
yep. And you can email me at aprilfedericonutrition@gmail.com.
There you go. There you go. Well, it's been delightful to have you on the show, April. We've learned so much from you, and hopefully we can get some people to improve their health and get to work with you and make your lives better. And these crash course diets people get on are crazy. I mean, it really is just just take care of what you're putting in your mouth. And I think there's a lot of people like, oh, I'm on this diet, I'm on that diet, and they're just constantly on these diet trends and fads, and a lot of them really aren't that good for you. Like I remember years and years ago, I remember looking at some of the little diet drinks that you would drink
Mm-hmm.
that have been around forever, and used to see them on TV all the time. And I started looking at them, and I started looking at the sugar and some of the ingredients in them, and I'm like, these aren't really helping me at all.
No, and that's the key. It's those hidden ingredients that will eventually put you on the edge.
Definitely.
Like for example, and I'm not talking badly about these drinks, but the Celsius drinks.
Oh yeah.
They're a good substitute for coffee. However, they do have a significant amount of sucralose in them, which is the stuff you find in Splenda.
There's always these hidden sugars nowadays. I was reading a New York Times article about all the different hidden ways they've taken in hidden sugar and high fructose corn syrup, and they have different names for it. I think one's called mono something, and they like you'll read the labels. And now you have to look that up because they have like trick words that they use for it now. Or like I'll see like it's sugar free but has stevia in it. You're like, wait. I don't know. So there you go. People can order up your book wherever fine books are sold. Diabetes Plate, your comprehensive food tracker for type 2 diabetes. Thanks for coming on the show, April. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having me.
There you go. And thanks to my audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss. Follow there on the TikTok. We're starting to get cool on the TikTok, Chris Voss 1, and LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, all those crazy places. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Lose some weight, eat healthy, and we'll see you guys next time. And that should have us out.